Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Code Duke Nukem, where we aim to recreate the original EGA action platformer, released in 1991. Now that we are able to show text boxes that wait on input, we have all we need to implement the menus. Now the main menu of the game is pretty elaborate with a lot of options, so what we will do is we'll start with the in-game menu, which is a lot smaller. Alright, let's go. Okay, so let's see if we can come up with a system to show arbitrary text boxes and stuff. And the original game also layers them on top of each other. Like if you go to the main menu and then you open up, for example, the high scores, it just lays all these menus on top of each other, confirmation requests, etc. So what we'll do is we'll introduce a package for the modals, because all those windows are modal windows, meaning that one of them is the active window and the rest are just laying in the background. And oh, it should be over here in the Duke package. And then let's just first model a very basic modal window. So let's see, it has an X and a Y position to render. It has the actual text to display, and it needs to know if it should show a prompt or not. And okay, getters get X, get Y, get text is prompt. And then what we'll do in the game state is we will keep track of the modal that is showing. Private modal. And then we'll of course have a set modal and a get modal. Yep. All right. And yeah, so let's make a modal for the in-game menu. So I'll just call it game menu. And let's extend the modal class. And then let's have the text here as a static final string text is something. And that's a prompt because it has a little spinny cursor thingy for the game to display. So the text for the in-game menu is something like this, like a new line, and then it says like Duke help menu with a new line, and then it has like this with a new line, and then it has the various options. So we should be able to save a game, new line. And we should be able to read the instructions. We should be able to view the game as setup. And we need to view the high scores. And we need to be able to reset level, restart level. Okay, so this is the text for the in-game menu. And yeah, that's it really. So okay, let's go into our GFX class, and here where we render the hints, let's just introduce a new render method real quick, and the hints will become a modal as well once we've got this going. But let's just tell this guy to render the modal, which is basically this function here, and then we'll say modal get message, get text, sorry, and then here modal get X, get Y, modal is prompt. So the game menu's X and Y positions are also known. The X should be tile size, so it's within the bordered game window, and Y should be 0. Also tile size, sorry. So it appears at the top of the window. All right. Yeah, get X. All right, so that is the modal. Now let's go into our main loop, where now it shows the hints. And let's just skip it here, and let's just tell it to do something with modals, and then we'll make the hints a modal later. So here we can just say render the modal. And then here we'll just press escape to clear the modal, to just remove it. All right. And then here, what we'll do is if the key handler is pressed VKF1, then we'll say game state set modal new game menu. Yeah, XY is no longer needed, so let's drop those. Okay, so let's run the game and hit F1. And yeah, looks like I did mess up the Y position. Oh, right, so modal get Y. That's the wrong Y getter in the renderer. So, all right, so there we go. So I think we need a new line at the very end here. So I'm guessing this last new line here isn't doing much. So I guess we need to give it some text here to render. Okay, I'm not too sure if this is the correct menu either. We'll take a look at the original game. All right, so let's compare these menus. So Duke help menu. Apparently the way that we draw, oh wait, I need to add a new line beneath the dashed here, and that probably fixes the issue. So this dash should have an extra wide line. All right, there we go. This looks pretty good. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that is displaying the initial start of the menu. So yeah, let's see. Let's try pressing the S key and get this this message that we can only save a game in the main hallways. So let's see if we can implement that right now. So in order to handle the keys, I think what we'll do is just like make a handle input method here that takes in the key handler, and we should have it available here in the main superclass. And then here we can say if handler is pressed VKS, then we should show a new message. So we probably need the game state here, and then here we can state set modal, and then we'll just create this modal here on the fly. So that is, let's see, X should be tile size again. So we'll just grab the X from this guy here, and then the Y should be, let's see here, should be one tile below. So that's like 32, or I guess get Y plus the tile size. And the text is, you can only save a game in the main hallways. You can only save a game in the main hallways. And then we probably need to add a new line after game, all right? And it starts with an empty line as well. And it has a prompt. So this modal should probably close on any key. So what happens when we press any key? It closes the entire modal. All right, so yeah, let's call this handle input method from our Duke Nukem main loop. So we can do that here. So here we can just say game state get modal dot handle input, and we need the input handling to include the game state because we might need to change the game state. So that's this guy, game state key handler. And then I guess what we can do is just always update the last update time here and then move this escape to the main menu, because All right. Okay, so let's see now. I expect the message to appear. So hit F1 and hit S. And then it complains like you can only save a game in the main hallways. That's pretty good. We still see the previous cursor here. So I think what we'll do is make sure that the focus gets lost from the underlying, like the modal window beneath the other guy. So what we'll do for that is instead of keeping track of the top modal, we'll just have a stack of modals. All right, and then here modals is a new array deck. And then here we'll call this guy show modal. And then here we can push this modal onto the stack. Here grab the current, and then here close modals or something. Modals.clear. All right, so now what we can do here is close all the modals. And instead of set modal, we can do show modal. And the same, you can go here, show modal. And then in the renderer, rather than showing the upper modal, I guess we need to just show all of them. So let's make a getter. We get modals. This, and then return modals. This is a, yep. And then here, Boolean has modal or something. And then here we can do size is greater than 0, or I guess not empty. So yeah, I guess we can just drop this and just do it from the loop. So here we can say if the modals are empty, do the game loop as usual. And otherwise, render the modals and handle input for the top modal. So can we do like just top, peak? Peak should be the top one, and then just handle input. And this warns that, hey, it might be null, but we've verified that it's not empty here in this upper if. So, all right, so this render modal needs to have the deck of all the modals. And then what we'll do is here have a descending iterator. So we start at the bottom. And then for each, I guess we need to actually have a counter because an iterator, because we need to know if we're at the last one. So iterator is modals descending iterator, while iterator has next. Iterator. Man, iterator. Yep. Well, this guy has next, then is iterator next, draw, and then we only should show the prompt if it is a prompt and if the model is the last in the list. So is prompt and there is no next model coming. All right, so now if we reload the game and start it up and hit F1 and then hit S, then the prompt disappeared from here and it shows up here. All right, so now what we got to do is just close all the modals when we press any key in this guy. So I'm guessing this can just be any message modal or something. Or I'll just make a private class here. Public static class message modal extends modal, and then I'm not too sure. Handle this input, And then here we need to check if any key is pressed. Then we need to say, okay, just close the modals. And then this show modal is going to be not a new modal, but a new message modal. All right, so all we have to do now is make sure that we press any key. So what we do is we'll just make a method, public boolean is any key pressed. And then boolean pressed is false. We'll just loop through our entire array. So while not pressed and I is less than pressed keys dot length. And then we can say here pressed is pressed keys I plus plus, return pressed. However, what we also need is a way to reset the pressed keys, because when we go from menu to menu, we want to make sure that this any key pressed isn't triggered by us hitting the S key, and then when we press S, the menu pops up, but then it should ignore the pressed S. So I think what we need is like a public void reset or something, where we fill the array with false. So pressed keys, and just fill it with false. So or clear, I guess the name should be. So here we clear our array. So then we say like ignore all previously pressed keys, start from 0. So when we press S here, we want to also say like, okay, handler, clear your state, show the modal. So because otherwise this modal would instantly close because we still have the key pressed. If that makes any sense. All right, so let's see if this does anything. So let's hit F1. Let's try and save the game. And then it says like you can only save the game in the main hallways, and then let's press any random key and the game continues. All right, that's pretty cool. Then let's add the level reset real quick. Wait, let's just go through them top to bottom. So instructions is the next. So else if handler is pressed vk I. Then yeah, we'll just show another message modal, this time with all the instructions. Now all the instructions is a lot to type, so I actually have them already typed out here. So just give me a sec, let me copy it over. So what I'll do is I'll just make a new one, private static final string instructions. And then that is this stuff here. All right, so this should just cover the entire menu, and the text is going to be instructions as well. And I guess we'll just make a little message static variable for the save. Save in hallways or something. Private static final string save in hallways is this. Okay, and then let's see if we get the instructions to show proper. So hit I. All right, and here you can see what happens when you forget to clear the key. It instantly closes. So we should clear. I guess we can just clear after every input. Maybe that is good enough. All right, so that is the instructions. So now it should stick to the screen until we press press any key. Okay, and then I see I've messed up one new line here. So change keys by choosing and then option. Okay, so where's the option? There. Okay, let's see how it looks. instructions. Okay, so it's a bit too big now. So let's open the original game and check out if we have the spacing a bit. Yeah, okay, so instructions should not start with a blank line. Okay, so let's remove this blank line here. And let's take a look again. Let's compare to the original game. And I think this looks pretty cool. Yep. All right, press any key and the game continues. Okay, so that is that. So we got save game instructions. We got game setup to go. So let's take a look at game setup. So we got some different modes where we can configure the joystick. We don't have joystick support just yet. Keyboard mode is changing the keys. We don't support that yet either. High scores we can show, but we don't have that data. So tell you what, to finish off this episode, I think we'll make the restart level thing here, F10, with the confirmation box, and we'll get the secret tips in this modal window stuff. So let's do the restart level. So that is F10. So else if the handler is pressed, VK F10, then we need a confirmation modal. So let's make a new class, confirmation. This extends modal. And then what we need is a constructor with, so we know that we have a prompt because we need to say yes or no. So yeah, see here we can see the prompt in the original game. So it's going to be there. So let's set that to true. And then let's have the handle input. So let's say if if handler is pressed VK yes, then do it. Else if, so what happens if I have this open and I press F? Okay, any other key. So else if handler is any key pressed, then we need to close modals. All right, yeah, so that is the confirmation. So we need to, let's see, so here F1 and then F10. Are you sure you want to restart the level? Yes, no. So let's go back to game menu. And then here we want to say, are you sure you want to, new line, restart the level? Yes, no, question mark. And then another message modal, but this should be a confirmation. All right. And now the confirmation needs to do something when it's confirmed, right? So let's give it a runnable. That's like a block of code that needs to be ran when the stuff is confirmed. So confirmed, I guess, is the term. So here, if you press the confirmation key, then we'll just run the confirmation code block. And then in the game menu here, we can say like, okay, this runnable, what it should do here is state.reset level. And we can use a nice method reference here. All right, so let's see if that works. Hit F1 and then hit F10. Oh, it's too, I need to reset. Let me just, is pressed. Let's just require a no, and let's to do any key. Because I'm not too sure what that could cause, but I'll figure it out. But I'll do that off screen. Okay, so it looks like I broke off the are you sure you want, I have a space too much. Yeah. All right, so let's hit no, nothing happens, and then let's hit yes, and nothing happens. Let's take a look at the reset level code. I guess this should also clear the modals. Close modals. Okay, let's try again. F1, F10, yes. All right, that resets the game. Pretty cool. So F1, F10, yes. All right, so that kind of works. We just have a slight issue with the message input stuff. So I'll take a look at that, like I said, off screen, because like there's probably like the way that we do the key handling here is like we just take all of the keys here, like also the special keys, like I have a function modifier on my MacBook and stuff like that. So it might be that this any key pressed should, rather than check for any, maybe we should just have a wide list of keys that we would like to check rather than just any old little thing. But for now, yes or no is fine. So let's get these tips as modals as well, and then we're good, I think. So let's make a hint a modal, and let's have a constructor. So we just care about the text here for the hints. So X is always going to be tile size, and the Y is always going to be 48, and prompt is going to be true. And in the handle input, we want to close the tip if the enter key was pressed. So we can say state.close modals. And then what we can do in the, let's see, here in the hints method, we have our show hint, of course. Then we do some stuff with current. Yeah, okay, we can just, so we were interacting with this current stuff in our Duke Nukem loop. But what we'll do is we'll just keep track of the game state here, kind of like what we do for bonuses. So here's the game state, and then show hint. What we can just do is say state show modal new hint hints.remove source, and then this fix me should still stay there. So the current and the clear is no longer needed because the modal system now handles that for us. So now we need to pass in the game state to the hints system. Okay, now let's find a soda can. Okay, secret tip, increase soda to increase your health, press enter. So got the tips back, and it's part of our nice modal system. It's turkey, so here we got the soda again. So yeah, I think that's a nice way to handle it. So all the other game menus, like the main menu and like I said, the high scores and keyboard configuration, everything can now be done by yeah, extending this modal class and just implement whatever keys we need to press to do whatever actions that we require. So I think that's pretty cool. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And yeah, so for next time, the very last thing that we need for level 1 is actually sound. So in next episode, we will be parsing the sound files and see if we can make some noise. So yeah, join me for that one. See you guys later. Bye-bye.